Please adjust your sitting posture according to the 7 meditative postures of Vairocana. And think, all sentient beings have been my mothers. All sentient beings have been my mothers, not just once, but numberless times. All sentient beings are as kind as my mother in this life. Even though all kind mother sentient beings want happiness and do not even want a small suffering due to mistakenly engaging with objects of adoptions and objects of abandonment, they do not experience happiness even for a moment, but suffering. In our minds, sincerely cultivate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all kind mother sentient beings were to have excellent happiness and the causes of excellent happiness that are virtues. May they have excellent happiness and its causes. I will cause them to have excellent happiness and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so. Next week, cultivate compassion towards all suffering mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all suffering mother sentient beings were free from all suffering and the causes of suffering that are non-virtues. May they be free from all suffering and its causes. I will cause them to be free from all suffering and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so. Next week, cultivate bodhicitta. First, we ask ourselves, who should take the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and lower realms? I should take the responsibility. Even though I should take the responsibility, I do not have the ability to place them in the state of perfect, complete enlightenment now. Who has such ability? Those perfect, complete Buddhas have the abilities to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, by all means, I will achieve the precious state of enlightenment. Next, we meditate on emptiness for a short while. The self and the aggregates neither exist as inherently one, nor as inherently different. Thus is empty of inherent existence. set a good motivation. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, by all means, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. For this, I will listen to the holy teaching and practice properly in order to benefit sentient beings. Yeah, so we have 2 more verses to go. So then we will complete this chapter. So after this, then we are going to have a question and answer. Onda dia sabji de karina. Sabji de jelo sa da de. No to penyun ko. O phe gire da kanda. Yen ro de da. So it's under the outlines of consequence, or you can also understand it that it is talking about benefits. And verse 167 says, upon hearing it in this way, one generates enthusiasm, the same respect for others as for the Buddhas, the wisdom, the exalted wisdom, and the great love. So these consequences talks about benefits and talks about purposes as well. So here he says, the disciple who hears that the lineage of the Buddha exists in all sentient beings will develop the joy of wishing to become a Buddha, will respect others as if they were Buddhas, will develop the wisdom that knows that faults do not exist by their own natures, will develop the deep wisdom that understands the potential to develop every dharma of the Buddhas. Yeah, and will generate the great love as described above. So here it talks about the benefits and also the purposes. Sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. So here, I forgot to share my screen. So thank you. Here we are under the outlines of consequence. So here it talks about the purposes. And verse 167 says, upon hearing it in this way, one generates enthusiasm, the same respect for others as for the Buddhas, the wisdom, the exalted wisdom, and the great love. And then Geshe-la read the disciples who hear that the lineage of the Buddhas exists in all sentient beings will develop the joy of wishing to become a Buddha, will respect others as if they were Buddhas, will develop the wisdom that knows that faults do not exist by their own natures, will develop the deep wisdom that understands the potential to develop every dharma of the Buddhas, and will generate the great love as described above. So consequences talks about purposes, and the next outline is summary of the benefits of being free from the 5 faults. So this verse talks about benefits, and verse 168 says, through generating these 5 qualities of lack of self-contempt, view of equality, lack of faults, being endowed with qualities, and the love arising from the equality of oneself and sentient beings, one swiftly attains Buddhahood. So in the commentary, it says, in the minds of that disciple, these 5 qualities, which summarize the Mahāyāna path, are developed. Consequently, there is no faults of self-contempt. So these 5 qualities refer to the 5 qualities mentioned in verse 167. So these 5 qualities, which summarize the Mahāyāna path, are developed. So consequently, there is no faults of self-contempt. The view that oneself and all other sentient beings are similar in possessing the ability to attain enlightenment is developed. The faults are seen as not existing by their own natures. The potential for the development of qualities is realized. Love is developed by seeing the equality of self and others in the ability to attain enlightenment. And by developing the stages of the Mahāyāna path, that disciple swiftly achieves the state of a perfect Buddha. So the first one is, consequently, there is no fault of self-contempt, and no fault of this, of self-contempt, and therefore one will not experience the resultant suffering. So because of being devoid of this fault, one will not experience the resultant suffering, and one will see that oneself and other sentient beings are similar or equally equally able to attain the state of enlightenment, and then the faults are seen as not existing by way of its own. Faults are seen as lack of inherent existence, and the potential for the developments of qualities is realized, and love is also developed by seeing the equality of self and others in the ability to attain enlightenment. So by this, then the disciple swiftly achieved the state of a perfect Buddha. So, and then Geshe-la say this text, or you can say that this chapter, ends it with a very auspicious words, which is the disciple swiftly achieves the state of a perfect Buddha. So the last line, it says, by developing the stages of the Mahāyāna path, that disciple swiftly achieves the state of a perfect Buddha. So here it says that the Mahāyānis, his so the Mahāyānis, his wisdom that directly realizes the emptiness, which is conjoined with the first 5 perfection, quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. So here we are talking about the Mahāyānis or the Mahāyāna practitioner. So his wisdom that directly realizes emptiness, which is conjoined with the first 5 perfection, such as generosity, will quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. So this is what it means by developing the stages of the Mahāyāna path. So the Mahāyāna practitioner or the Mahāyānist, through his wisdom, through conjoining the wisdom that directly realizes emptiness with the first 5 perfections, such as generosity, will quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. So this conjoining the wisdom that directly realizes emptiness with the first 5 perfections means that these 6 perfections are indivisible. So they are indivisible. And through the indivisibility of these 6 perfections, then one will quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. So in case if one were to lack any of these 6 perfections, one's practice were devoid of any of these 6 perfections, then one will not be able to achieve the state of enlightenment. Then the chapter ends with the title of the chapter or the name of the chapter. So it says, from the Mahāyāna Dharatantra treatise, the lineages of the 3 jewels, this has been the chapter on the Tathāgata essence. In the commentary, first verse means that the explanations of the Tathāgata essence outlined by the verse beginning, because the activities of the Dhammakaya are pervasive, is complete. First could also mean first chapter. But I think this is more first could also mean first chapter, but I think this is more correct. That's all. Yeah. So we complete Tathāgata essence, and then now we will have a question and answer. And after question and answer, then Geshe-la will recite first few lines from the very beginning for auspiciousness. So if you have any questions, then So I have received 4 questions. I have received questions from Jaya, so I will first read Jaya's question. So the first is Inji Tony Lo, and it Jela Geshe-la, do, and it Jela, Chazang de Loro. Also, Nikatul Shia, Nikatu Shia me. Len, Len Nikatu Shia, Jiwat some login, Geshe-la, do you know? So first question is, so at many instances in the Sublime Continuum, it is stated that the suchness and emptiness is seen. For example, in verse 16 and 17, it states, they are with knowledge of varieties because the mind that realize the final objects of knowledge sees that the knowledge sees that the nature of omniscience is present in all sentient beings. And verse 17, first two lines say, wherever is realized in this way is seen by one's own exalted wisdom. As emptiness is a non-affirming negation, not perceived by any sense consciousness, is it to be understood that when it says that emptiness or omniscience is seen, it refers only to an aspect that is individually realized in the meditative equipoise of Arya Buddhas only? 지난해 그 지진이 당도 아니라 아니랑 대신이 통마당 동만이 통마세대 아니 대 동만이 메가레스 아니 대한 왕식이 마통바 왕식이 통기요 마레스 동만이 통 야나데 공기 지나데 탐지 킴바통
일단
탐지 킴바통세대 아니 지 상기 파바기 냠샤 잠기 디토기요나스 덴데세기요나스
이제 모르겠고 신고니까 오다가
또 지지 그다 흉유 된주된소
그래서 디테일스 간다 되게 이렇게 나오는 거 어때 가르고 간다 이게 그런 공간이 내가 해서 좋아 우리 내가 시험을 했어 그 시작도 지다운 것은 늘 단지진이 주니 써야 돼 이 돈이를 봐자
단지킴이 주니로
돈이래서 그 돈이 돼 나기 돈받을 때 신체 단계를 해본 것은 돈 이래서 나 간다 상세 바바스 가자는 이래서 상세 바바는 이것이 공부를 위해서 그래서 간다 신체 단계를 뒤라 나기 돈받을 이거 단지진이 주니 나기 돈받을 때 신체 단계를 해본 것은 돈을 위해서라고 해서 단지진이 주니서 맞아 유진을 받아야 말했어 단지진이 주니서 열어와 어디를 자 그랬어
유자요 말어. 유진자 탐지킴바이나 대한 탐지킴이 주니나 대 유진자요 말. 탐지킴이 주니나 양 동니제 양 대시시비 주니. 대시시비 주니로. 근데 양 탐지킴이 탐지킴이 주니나 대한 유진라 자요 말이스.
나 된다 디가스도 도도들이 해서 간다 상시 바바되기 그러 상시 바바되기 간다 된다들이 상시 바바지지 또 무슨 또 빌로 되게 다시 집에 주니들 아니 동바디 심지 탄전에 여봐 무슨 동거리 해서 된다들이 도도라
온다 기실라 탐지킴이 주니 갑대 양 대시시비 닝보 대세기요나 양나 셈땡기 주니
주니 코로자도
셈땡기 주니로
나 근데 지금 주니 코로자라 이거 근데 주니 때 아니 동바디 심지 탄전이라 여봐 무슨 동거리 해서 심지 탄전이라 여봐 무슨 동거리 해서 심지 기라 주니 여봐 무슨 안다
심지 기라 주니 여봐 통마 된다 디로 하실라 대신이 통마다 야나 대 동만이 통마 된다 디 양 답도 아이디아 시다 타도 지다 왕고주도 또 별로 이 탐지킴이 주니 세대 양 셈땡이 주니 양나 동니 양나 주니 랑세야 대양 랑신이 동만이 대 삼진 탐지 요파
심지 주니 무슨 심지 단지기를 주니 무슨 요번 동거리 해서 계속 봐봐도 자세히 봐봐 단대 코로나 들어가기도 와 그러니까 즉 시작 타도 됐다와 무슨 또 상세 법이기 여기 단지집이 주니데 돈이데
가도 돈이데로
심지 단지를 요번 무슨 동거리 해서 들어가는 어때 안들
그래서 상기 파바 점기 도바이나 도야이나
상기 파바 점 말 상기 파바 점이나 대 상세 파바 마도로 그러와 상기 파바 점도 도와잖아 대 상세 파바 마도로 차그래서 그래서 상다 되게 뜻제를 긴다고 또 찍으러 봐
지상에 대한 파바 진제라 양 도기오레 갑디나 대 장세 파바 대 자로 라
단지 또 늘 가디가 상세 파바 타나 말이스 상기 파바 점
상기 맞아
근데 까도 상세 파바 야야 됐어
also page 73 Okay. So it's related to this verse 16 and first two lines of verse 17. So here it says, they are endowed with knowledge of varieties because the mind that realizes the final objects of knowledge sees that the nature of omniscience is present in all sentient beings. So then Kishla, and the questions is, so when we say, understood that emptiness or omniscience is seen, does it refer only to an aspect that is individually realized in the meditative equipoise of Arya Buddhas only? So then Kishla explained that. So the emptiness of inherent existence of the omniscient nature of the mind directly realizes modes, the final objects of knowledge, is directly perceived to exist within all sentient beings. Therefore, varieties are realized. So, yeah.
노도신의 신직기가 되어지는 nimbo 여방을 그래서 가서 별 같은 것들이 된다 보이는 비밀에서
대시비님.
신직 탄직기가 되어지는 nimbo 여방을 그래서 일단 노도신들에서.
So, yeah. So first of all, then we talk about the emptiness of inherent existence of the omniscient nature of the mind directly realizing modes, the final object of knowledge, is directly directly realized mind that directly realized. Yeah. So a mind that directly realized the emptiness of inherent existence of the omniscient nature of the mind, directly realizing the modes, exists within all sentient beings. So a mind that directly realized the emptiness of inherent existence exists in the minds of all sentient beings. So this mind, in this context, refers to Aya Bodhisattvas. So here, in this context, that mind that directly realized the emptiness of inherent existence exists within all sentient beings. That mind refers to Aya Bodhisattvas. So it does not only refer to Aya Buddhas. So it doesn't refer to Aya Buddhas only. So in this particular context, it refers to Aya Bodhisattvas who directly realize the emptiness of inherent existence exist within all sentient beings. And here we see that emptiness is seen, or the nature of omniscience is seen. So the nature of omniscience it cannot be here. It does not refer to an object possessor. Here, nature of omniscience. Here, it does not refer to object possessor. So what it means is, when we say emptiness is seen, or the nature of omniscience is seen in this particular verse. So here, it refers to the Sukata essence, or the Tathāgata essence, is present in all sentient beings. So Aya Bodhisattvas, who directly realizes the emptiness of inherent existence, exists within all sentient beings, means that Aya Bodhisattvas directly realizes that Tathāgata essence exists within all sentient beings. So this is what it means, and it doesn't refer to Aya Buddhas only. And so this is the first question. And the second question.
What it means is that it is a realization. It is not something, it's not a sense consciousness. There's no object possessor. It's only a realization, correct? It's always a realization.
You mean omniscience, the nature of omniscience is seen, or emptiness is seen, refers to the realizations of emptiness, is it?
Yes, that's my gist of my question, yes.
Ini nanti 동반이 통화세 대 양나 대 가사 대양 탐지 캠비 취니 통화세 대양 동반이 또봐 대 세기요나
신직기가 무엇이 nimbo 여방 통구를 해서 이게 된다
양디 가자한테 양디 동반이 또봐 대 지보 대 나가요 말에
무슨 통사가 떠오르나 동반이 신직기라 안다 신직기라 대화시 nimbo 여방 무슨 통구를 해서 된다데 상세 파파들 그게 시고
지단기 동반이 또봐 대 진대이나 단다 동반이 통 양나 탐지 킴비 춘이 통세대 양
생체기지라.
공기한테 니 된다 공기 된다기도 니 지와 도도대 양 동만이 또봐 대이나스
동반이 또 살아. 동반이도 또 그래 되나서 수기지라. 먼저 생체가 단다 까도를 생체배 생체라 상지지 리요레 상지지 공부해야 니바여서 단다 뒤장자 시도. 대신 도디 나 상세 봐봐되게 생체기 단치기지라. 대화식이 님보여 봐 무슨 통그래. 다 단다 도도들. 다 생체 단치기라 대화식이 님보여 봐 무슨 통사디 다 생체가 상지지 상지야 니바여 상지야 리요레서.
지단이 대한 지단기 양 동반이 또봐대
동반이 또 받았다. 니게 지금 대장로 말했어.
Yeah, so in this particular context, when we say emptiness is seen or the nature of omniscience is seen, it does not refer generally to the realizations of emptiness. So basically, in this context, we are talking about these higher bodhisattvas realizes the existence of Tathāgata essence or Sukhata essence in the continuum of sentient beings. So those higher bodhisattvas directly realizes the existence of this Sukhata essence in the continuum of sentient beings, that all sentient beings, in that all sentient beings have the abilities to achieve the state of enlightenment. So it does not generally refers to the realizations of emptiness. Yeah. So then the second question, I'm confused about the relationship between Dhammadhatu and Dhammakaya. So, and then verse 146, yeah, so regarding the relationship between the Dhammadhatu and Dhammakaya, then verse 146, it says, the Dhammakaya is to be known as twofold. The first is the, verse 146. Then the first is the utterly undefiled Dhammadhatu, which is the concordant cause of the second, the Dhammakaya of teaching, by way of profound definitive and various interpretable sutras. And then in the commentary, it says that the Dhammakaya has two aspects. The first is the Dhammadhatu, is the Isotta wisdom Dhammakaya of realization, and the second is the Dhammakaya of teaching. The Dhammadhatu is also identified as the cause, and the Dhammakaya as the concordant result of the direct realization. Also, ni jiwa thangbo de kandishuna, di jiwa niba cha thangbo de kandishuna. Ini tiang chue ying dang chue gu ni ye, ini tiang jiwa tiang xie da gochu ma song, ini tiang ni ga shib ji xie xi di qi jie de chue gu nam yi xie jia de, chue ying xi du ti me ba ti gyu ju sa ba dang, na chu tu ni ben ba wo. Ani tiang wola di jewa nanglo la di shiki yore chugu ina dian namba ni yore tangbo de chuyin yin la yang kaza tiang toba yishi chugu niba ni temba chugu ani yang di chuyin se de yures chugu se de kaza ngunsum du tobe kaza ngunsum du tobe 제부레스 ngunsumdu toba 튠베 제부레스 데이나스
어디 가도 들어와. 근데 저런 해야 돼. 먼저 제가 최고세와 되는 거서 또바 최고자 땜바 최고세 데니다 하고 가지고 와. 최고들 최고들하고 또바 최고자 땜바 최고세 니 그래. 땜바 최고세와 되는 거서 뭔데 땜베도다 안 뭔데 시도다. 그도 나서 뒤에 정대 진도 니어로 와. 얘니가 땜바 최고도 니어로 와. 다 단다데 또바 최고세와 예 나서 또바 최고세와 돼. 다 주의 무엇으로 또 타신이 시행된다. 주의 무엇으로 또 타신이 시행.
또 가자 또바 최고 주의
무엇으로 또 타신이 시행돼 맞추고래. 와
주의 또 ngunsum도 또베
타신이 시행.
ngunsum도 또베
타신이 시행. 같이 시행 또바 최고래. 또바 최고와. 다 또바 최고 다 저런 거 저보다 저게 시행이나 네 주의 무엇으로 타신이 시행돼 또바 최고래. 다 주의 무엇으로 주인공도 또빠 대라 때니 내 주인 너무 로바라지 내가 주인공도 또 주인공도 공부 대라 때니 내 또빠 히치고 도그래 해서 제부 또빠 히치고 도그래 해서 두시잖아 그거스
주인 공부라 때니
주인 공부라 때니 주인 공부라 때니 또 또바이 히치고 도그래 레브 또바이 히치고 도그래에서 두스잖아 비그래에서 그러와 인디 시작고요나 맞아 도저히 돈에 두스잖아 비그래에서 그리고 가도 맞아 또바이 히치고다 주인의 교리에 대리 레브레스나 네 이제 깔래 거고서 와 주인 그런 쩌다 가서 교리 나요 말와 당가서 본도지 야오데 가서 컴데 니래야 저 시세 야오데 가서 와 컴데 군조 속에 레브 군조 속에 조 니래 시레스 라서와 몽골이야 이 라서와 닐로야데 대 본도지 와 이 치 컴데 눈이 또지 안타 집치고 돼
컴디야는 주인데
주인데 와 내 공도라 때네 내 공부라 때네 이 치고 예스 치고 예스 개부터 가지고 그래서 두스 자다 예스
Yeah, so regarding your questions, and you say that Dhammakaya.
Yes, you can. The question continues. If you read further in my question, it was just sent to you.
Yes. Yeah. So because they are first part of the questions, and then
yes.
and then I break it into second two parts.
Okay. Thank you.
Otherwise, then the question become very long. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes. Thank you.
So regarding the first part of the second question, then it says that Dhammakaya has two aspects, and the first is the Dhammadhatu, is the exalted wisdom Dhammakaya of realization, and the second is the Dhammakaya of teaching, and the Dhammadhatu is also identified as the cause, and Dhammakaya as the concordant result of the direct realization. So then Geshe-la explained. So first of all, when we talk about Dhammakaya, then it has two aspects, which is correct. Then we talk about the truth body of realization and truth body of realization and truth body of teaching and truth body of teaching or truth body of doctrine, and then which is further divided into sutra of definitive meaning, indicating the ultimate, and the sutra of interpretable teaching, indicating the conventional. So truth body of realizations refers to the exalted wisdom, the culminated exalted wisdom that directly realizes the reality or the real nature. So I repeat, truth body of realization is is a culminated exalted wisdom that directly realizes the real nature or reality. So it is very difficult to straight away say that the Dhammadhatu is the cause and the Dhammakaya is the result. So however, if you so in general, if we were to say that Dhammadhatu is very difficult to say in a general context, Dhammadhatu is the cause and Dhammakaya is the result, because in general, Dhammadhatu is not a cause. So, however, if you were to relate it to a causal relationship, then it should be like in dependence on the power of meditating on the Dhammadhatu, one achieved the result of Dhammakaya. So in general context, you cannot directly relate these two Dhammadhatu and Dhammakaya as cause and result. However, if you were to relate it in a causal relationship, then it should be like independence on the power of meditating on the Dhammadhatu, one achieves the result, which is a Dhammakaya, or you can say that one achieves the resultant Dhammakaya. So then you can also relate to an individual, for example, or an Arya Bodhisattvas. So independence on the power of meditating on the Dhammadhatu on the basis of his mind, he achieved the result. He achieved the resultant Dhammakaya. So, 당연히 대한 추인사 대 도바추고 세대 카투 대 라가 요마로.
주의 도바추고 말해서
And yeah, so and it's also inappropriate to say it's also inappropriate to say that Dhammadhatu is the exalted wisdom Dhammakaya of realization. Yeah, and Dhammadhatu Dhammadhatu is mutually inclusive with reality. In another translation for this is real nature and emptiness and ultimate truth. Yeah, Dhammadhatu is mutually inclusive with real nature, emptiness, and ultimate truth. Ini di kasa tiwa niba gi cha niba di yang ni ga shik ju xie ga la jeba ni yorwa niba jeba ni yorwa di di kasa ini dia talks about read further on page 197 of the text. Then it talks about object and scope. So Dhammadhatu is the object within the scope of the non-conceptual exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, which is understood as the Dhammakaya. And Dhammadhatu as the realization cause, and Dhammakaya as the definitive and interpretable teachings results. So is this understanding correct? So Chuying said you Kaising the Yoro, the Sangi Namgi, Chuguni, Dema Chugu Tang, Toba, Chugu, number Nisu, Toba, Sindu, number Tabi, Chugin, number Tobi Yamsha, Yamsha Yishi, Juyu, Wura, Chizanity, Chewing ni, Juris,
number Motobi Shidi, that the number that choosing the number Motobi Shidi, the number shot, hello, choosing the number shot,
the mini, or chewing a mini.
Choose the number, the number shot, the number Motobi here, number Motobi, the number shot, the number Motobi.
And it is Kongian, the number Mitobi, Nyamsha Yishi, the young Yingris, because a Ying said,
number Motobi, he no, not a number Motobi, she no, the Chini number Janti, he hit it. You're the cousin tree,
Chewing and
the tree, that tree, the number Shanti, the number Motobi, he is it. Number
Mitobe, Nyamsha Yi, number Mitobe, Nyamsha Yishite, young Chuguris, Chuguro.
Chukura touch your the Katona Chukuja.
In it, a Chugi Yingla Mine, a number Mitobe, a Nyamsha Yishite, Chuguris.
The Chukuti, and then the Kato Chukuti, Sanji Chukuti, the number Chukuti, Sanji Chadira, Sanjila Chadira. The number Shandy, number Motobi, she got Chukure Lion.
Jitang Shewaina, Jitang Shewaina, the Chuing la Mini. Me be number Mitobe Yamsha Yishite, the Chugo de Korea.
That and the Kato Chukuno Janishi, Chukude, you Chukude Janishi,
Chitang in the Jayo Marie, Nick up the Nadia Sangi Chuku and Jayo.
Chukude Janishi.
Chesani Dang Chuying said the young Tobare, Juris, Chuku said the Tang Duen Tang in Dungi, Temba, Jeburis. Chuying said the Tobaris, Chuying the Tobaris, Juris.
She said the level cheese don't need only
the young Chitang, the young Katu, the July, Marisine, the young Chuying la Kazate Kombala, Compito, Tene, any young Jew and Jebu, the young Jewa, the Changi or Remato.
Yes,
that's all. Any young Chugu in the Tangdun and doing it Demba, she is Jebu race. Chugu said this. Tangdun and doing it.
Tangdun is liar. Chugu the niche. Chugu the Toba Chugu, the Demba Chugu. Chugu Kuro, Chitamba, Chugu Chitamba. That Chugu Kuro, Toba Chugu, the Demba Chugu is near. That Toba Chugu, so that not just on the number 7. 사실 이게 되려 가다. 도바치고서 동반량 것은 양바 샤네게 이시대 도바치고래.
초고세 대한 카투 대한 장된 단계 능기도 능동이 땜바될 카투데 라요 용마로 가이산이요로 단 제부리스 양대 단계 라바 당시로 아소 so sorry I forgot to share this actually yeah so here, sorry the questions is related to the commentary here. It says the Dhammakaya of the Buddhas should be known as having two aspects: the Dhammakaya of the teachings and the Dhammakaya of realization. So in other words, is the truth body of the teaching or truth body of the doctrine and the truth body of realization. The totally pure Dhammadhatu is the object within the scope of the non-conceptual distorted wisdom of meditative equipoise. So here it mentions both object and scope, right? So here it says the totally pure Dhammadhatu is the object within the scope of the non-conceptual distorted wisdom of meditative equipoise. So this one, object within the scope, can then Geshe-la explained that this object within the scope basically it refers to the objects of activity. This word in Tibetan is called rgyud, so it can be translated into many different. It has many translations for this Tibetan word rgyud. It can be translated as objects of activity. It can also be translated as objects of utilization. Yeah. 상기 도바쪽으로.
주인아, 디다도 주마치가 냠바 샤두고요. 아까서 생지 상세 보고 쓸어 디다도 주마치가 냠바 샤두고요. 샤두고요. 또바 이치고 니마도 와. 상지서 또바 이치고 주인들아 디다도 냠바 샤두고요. 해서 주마치. 아까서 상세 보고 쓸어 주마치가 냠바 샤두고요. 뻔뻔을 잡고 봐.
Yeah. So So then this totally pure Dhammadhatu is the object. So object within the scope can be translated as objects of activity or objects of utilization of the non-conceptual exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise. So in other words, this non-conceptual exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise observe the totally pure Dhammadhatu. So the totally pure Dhammadhatu is the object. So in other words, is the object, in particular, the objects of activity or objects of utilization. And the object possessor is the non-conceptual exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise. And then this Dhammadhatu is the realization, as the realization cause. So again, this Dhammadhatu is not the realization. It is an object. It is not the object possessor. So if you were to say that it is a realization, then it would mean you would refer to the object possessor. So however, here Dhammadhatu is the object, and Dhammadhatu as the cause, then again it relates to. So if we were to say that independence on the power of meditating on the Dhammadhatu, one achieved the resultant Dhammakaya, then the causal relationship would imply. And however, it is very difficult to directly say that Dhammadhatu is the cause. And Dhammakaya as the definitive and interpretable teachings result, then Dhammakaya, as mentioned, it can be divided into two: the truth body of realization and truth body of teaching, right? So it's very difficult to say that Dhammakaya as the definitive and interpretable teachings, because it is only a part of Dhammakaya. It's one of the divisions of Dhammakaya. So and then results, and similarly the same apply as mentioned just now. So then then here we are in the context of the Dhammakaya of the Buddhas. So now we are in the context of talking about Buddha's Dhammakaya. So therefore, here it says mention of both object and the scope. So again, if I were to translate it, I would translate it as mention of both objects and objects of activity refers to the particular feature of this, refers to the attributes of the constant meditative equipoise. So this constant meditative equipoise, so yeah, so here it says that it's the attributes of the constant meditative equipoise is because we are in the context of Buddha's Dhammakaya. So Buddha is able to remain constantly in the meditative equipoise. And however, this non-conceptual, however, in the general context, if we were to say, when we say non-conceptual exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, observe the totally pure Dhamma Dhatu, which is its object of realization. So this, in a general context, it does not refers to Buddhas, Aya Buddhas only. So because even Aya Bodhisattvas, they have this non-conceptual exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise that observe the totally pure Dhamma Dhatu. So since that is in the general context, in this particular context, since it is talking about Buddha's Dhammakaya, so therefore here it talks about the attributes of the constant meditative equipoise, because Buddhas is able to remain constantly in the meditative equipoise, and Buddha's non-conceptual exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise observe the totally pure Dhamma Dhatu. This is the second question. Yeah. So then question number 3. Yeah. So then the similes is as follows. If this understanding is correct, then the similes is as follows. Buddha form in the lotus is Dhamma Dhatu realization. Dhamma Dhatu realization. Yeah. Dhamma Dhatu realization or culminated wisdom. Honey is Dhammakaya. Sutras of definitive meaning, teaching ultimate. Grain is Dhammakaya. Sutras of interpretable meaning, teaching conventionalities. Yeah. Then can this be likened to the metaphor of space, where Dhamma Dhatu is like infinite space that contains everything, and the Dhammakaya is like space inherent quality of being unobstructed and unchanging? So this is the third question. Di jiwa sumbari kesi kaza kongi koa di kesi di jiwa tangbo tang niba ki koa di tata gina ane yang di kongi yang pe di shana di giyo nas pe ma nangi sangi ki su ni chuyin tokpa rawa chuyin ki tokpa am tachim bi shera 장지 ni 최고 된담 땜베 ngedoin ki dores dui ningbo ni 최고 kunzop 땜베 장도인 ki dores and di kaza di chazang di da yang namka ki pe nangxing inas chuyin ni tamji dube namka ta yeba nangxing res 최고 ni namka ki tome dang gu mebe rangxing rangxing, nangxing, de sena, de figuras, de rangxing, nangxing de sena, rangxing xindu, de sena de figuras. Tambo de, pema nangi sangi ki suni, chuing topa am, tachimbe shera. Sangi ki suni. Chuing topa, chuing ki topa rawa. Chuing topa am tachimbe shera.
근데 말 내가 좀 빼대잖아. 내가 좀 빼래샤래서. 빼샤오디 마 니 그게 말이지로.
디 빼라 빼기 돈이 시기요래. 공공이 안돼 빼래. 애니 데 빼만 난기 상기기 수니 애니 양 추인 도바 암 타치미 시라 양티 가서 빼되는다 버디 시기요로.
빼대잖아. 그때 주당에 그지는 땅을 쓰러. 그지는 내 땅에 있어. 그때 나도 빼저래를 막 제가 같이 기자인 봐. 그러거든요.
단다 요가 대양 가서 대추줄레 대템바 규실로도 템바 국주고지
야,
국주고지
뭐지? 이제
가서 그 치지에 안쪽이 배차 그 니가 쥐가
근데 그런 이제 그런 게 주고 들어와. 뭐가 주고 돼. 나 주고 돼 가지고
빼만 난기 상기기 소니 추잉도바 암 타치 메시라
때문에 소리 소리.
빼만 난기 상기기 소니 빼만 예마 어디 국주고숨 저기 주줄레 템바 국주고숨 국주고숨 데 상기 상기 예수 수고
때문에 동이 민나나 쉬고 당하세요. 정지 담아는 게 당하세. 민군 주인님 뭐 당가서 디페레 상지지 구수 때문에 동이 민나나 쉬고 해세. 이 디가다 디시고와
계산이 데 빼만 난기 상기기 소니 추잉 도바암 타치 메시라 데 세기요나
리케로고
베디 그냥 디 된디 챙기요나
리케로고 와. 리케로고 말간다. 상지지 구수데 때문에 동이 민나나 쉬고 당하세. 와. 상지지 구수데 때문에 동이 민나나 앞에 안다 데 요르세. 그래서 도도 상지지 구수데 자청모지 요르세 고와. 때문에 동이 뭐 나라. 자청모지를 때 danzi 자청모데 담아데 파마스 담만 님바로와. 담만 님바 되는 거서 danzi 야고도 고와. 때문에 동이 뭐 나로 맞을 때 간다 데 요르세 고와. 상지지 구수데 요르세.
상기 구수이나 가르쳐요나 상기 구수이나 뱅 가르쳐요나
그래서 비자 상장으로 비자를 시작으로
디자인에 대한 카민
들어 때마다 비자 칸지 빼로 비자 칸지 빼로 비자 칸지 빼 그래서 비자 칸지 빼的 가르스나 비자 칸지 빼데 다 빼만 샤워 빼만 그래서 비자들 빼들라 가서 다 대샤트 기도 좀 말려로 비자기 좀 빼들라 비자 기다려로
디자 카므로 디자 카미나 대한 디자 카미나 대 초고리 디자 니바데 가자 디자 가자 디튼 당보이나 대한 초고리 니바데 녜된기 도리 가자 녜된기 도리 숨바데 장된기 도리 베이나양 디수고 장지 주인보
어디서 빼로와 저 빼들이 나 간다 비자 칸지 빼는 소거를 때 비자 칸지 빼的 가르스나 맞어 봐 수고대 자천보대 가서 저 통화나 가르고스나 빼만 동년바대 파 카치바지 소거래서 빼만 동년바대 빼만 동년바대 파 세바이는 때 나오는 빼 자천보 수고를 보고래 해서 자천보 수고 동고래
지상이
디지로 칸지 디지르게 디지라 자고래 해서 그냥
지상이 디스 빼만 난기 상기 수니 이니양 디 추구 디 챙기어와 추잉 디 챙기어 말어
주의 말이
이니 디 추잉기 똑바이나 디 챙기어라
주의가 똑바뀌 시고 당가서
내 타친 베시라
다시 미셔도 이렇게 말와
대한 추구지고
주구지고 당가서 주구세서 딱 지당가서 저 대한서 잡고 힘을 된다 힘을 또 다시 넣어요 야 다들 빼 카드 받게 가지 안 주고 카드 되면서 빼만 상지 구수자 정보들 빼만 되게 주실 가서나 빼민 동명본 안에 상지 구수자 정보지 이거를 해서 근데 구수자 정보들 빼민 동명본 주실 빼민 동명본 파 카체바이나 상지 구수자 정보를 공부를 해서 공부를 해서 대는 아직 단지 비신 뭐 받으라고 하나 주로 담아대 파 멤버 담아대 파 세고 해서 그러와 담아대 파 멤버 받으면 단지 야 신보들 한 말에 해서 그러와 어다 디제 카데 간다들 파 디제 바꿔야 돼 디제 바꿔 그러와 다 디제 칸을 지자고 된다 가서 칸을 빼야 돼 칸을 빼야 돼 상지 구수대 얘는 칸을 지자로 와
공기 가이즈나 당 讲那样的吹应当秋古清的写给我了，其实唐波的边么能给上给数你吹应的是，你讲长子你，
장지지 그런 주의를 내가 배워 말도 내가 가야
你讲长子你가자的가자边么能给上给数你吹应了吹应吹给我的是，你长子给背你吹古吹给我的是，对英文你吹古吹给我的是，点的làm那大有呢。 빼만 남기 상기기 순이 주인
당가도 주의 또야 들어와 주의 가서 대신님부터 또야 다 다시 장자라서 한 대신님 뭐 또야 여봐 거야 근데 너도 들어와 대신님부터 거야 들어와 거야 때 가도 거잖아 다 맞아 상지지 구수된 여봐대 대하 고발라 빼만 동네 받아 파 세부리에서 양다라 지하다 가서 대신님부터 야보지 또야라 때 디지지 파 차도 무슨 디리게 대파스 까고래 대파 막아나 대신님 또 두고 말하나 된다 야사도 대신님 와 야사 되게 대신님 뭐 두시라고 된다 저 두야게 학과에 쳐도 빼줄게로 와 근데 상지 구수도 막 빼지 않으시고 와
지상이 빼마 상기기 순이 주인
나야 돼 주인 말해라 그러나 주인 그 말했어
이에 대한 대시십이 닝보대 전기어로 대시십이 닝보
차가 너가 막 닝보 도시 있다 타나고 자고로 와 닝보 또야라 가서 지시에서 파 니까 지시에서 파 막은 닝보 통통고 말해서 나한테 저 또야게 현실하고 내가 간다
대신 닝보 대시십이 닝보 또야기 탑저보대 전기어래
닝보 여봐 또야게 여봐 두야게 가서 다시로 왔어 처음에 칸 대화시 닝보를 저 두자 당제 치고 뜻 두야게 대 여봐 학고야 지다 나빼 망보 시켜서 그래서 처음에 된다는 가서 한 대화시 닝보를 학고야 지 대 학고야 지
그래서 당지디 양 추구 강 유인님보 양 추구 대천기어래 스테데 랍나 당지니 당지 빼니 추구 천기어래 유인님보니 빼니 추구 천기어래 근데 랍나 디기어나
주인님보
빼니 추구 천기어래 당지 이 빼니 추구 천기어래 스테데 랍나 디기어나스
근데 가도도 그러가래 가버렸어.
가이스나 대 장진이 빼로 근데 가리 충격이 때 된한테 매행에 된게 또 대충격으로 도이나 대한테 맞추고로
제가 땜바 정가서 치고 자고 막 가서 내다 끼를 걸어
된한테 매행에 된게 또
바로 자고 막 지금 가서 된다 때문에 이 그거 때문에 너도 치고 그러 말해 가서 내다 끼를 보고 시는 시에서 오러
대타로
내다 끼를 봐시는 기자 시고로 말 근데 그거 치고 그러 말해
맞어
치고 그러 자고 말
맞어
그래서 빼고 가도 봐야
맞어 Yep. So when we talk about this Buddha form in the lotus is Dhammadhatu realization or culminated wisdom. So then Geshe-la explained. So Buddha form in the lotus, then it talks about the obstructor and also the objects of obstruction. So the obstructor is the decaying lotus, and then the Buddha form is the objects of obstruction. So by removing the decaying lotus, then one will get the Buddha form, which is the objects of obstruction. And in this particular context, the actual meaning of the objects of obstruction refers to the basic element. So this Buddha form and lotus, they are still similes that illustrates the obstructor and object of obstruction. So when you say Buddha form in the lotus is Dhammadhatu realization or culminated wisdom, so if you're talking about this, so if you're talking about this Buddha form is Dhammadhatu, which is the objects of obstruction, then is the Dhammadhatu, then itself, Buddha form does not illustrate the Dhammadhatu. So this Buddha form in the lotus, shall I explain? This whole simile, Buddha form in the decaying lotus, illustrates the method to realize the Tathāgata essence. So the whole simile of the Buddha form in the lotus illustrates the method to realize the Tathāgata essence. So as I think Geshe-la said, Buddha form itself does not illustrate the meaning of Dhammadhatu. And then honey is Dhammakaya, Sutras of Definitive Meaning, teaching ultimate, and grain is Dhammakaya, Sutras of Interpretable Meaning, teaching conventionalities. Then again, so when we say honey is Dhammakaya, then grain and also grain is Dhammakaya. So it's very difficult to say that honey, the simile of honey illustrates the meaning of Dhammakaya, and the simile of grain illustrates the meaning of Dhammakaya. So because when we say, then you may say that Sutra of Definitive Meaning, teaching ultimate is part of truth body of the doctrine, or truth body of teaching, right? And similarly, the Sutras of Interpretable Meaning, teaching conventionalities, is also a division of truth body of the doctrine or teaching. Then, however, then we also have to understand that when we talk about Dhammakaya, so Dhammakaya can be divided Dhammakaya can be divided into actual Dhammakaya and imputed Dhammakaya. So therefore, we cannot, and these sutras of definitive meaning teaching ultimate and sutras of interpretable meaning teaching conventionalities, they are imputed Dhammakaya. They are not actual Dhammakaya. And they did, and they第大嘅背咯，當佢啲背點背嘛，能嘅生嘅數堂長字堂對應冇啲咯，因為背點第大南卡嘅背點能行而nas，最呢，他們對別南卡太一般能行嘅，最個呢南卡嘅托咩堂對咩別讓行到嘅，點啲而nas。
我的知曉的。南卡的我是区域的背效果哇，区域的区域的我说南卡南些也基本背效能就过区域的南卡的南卡的背效就过了我说地区你没有啊地区你没的区域的南卡的背效的南卡的帮到我们让你觉得今天结巴的当不结巴把的念吧他们你就是呢你给要嘛也是是吧你去把给要嘛的是那等到那些区域的那当不结巴的把的念吧他们就是要嘛的区域的大的被现在他们给的超给的好像有点嘛都当不结念你就是的要嘛的是呢你能看上去也是都背下来是吧我说都把结果说的你做的我说能看背下来给写过要嘛都把结果的我说能看上去给刚刚给
南卡能行南卡嘅能行點樣叫我咩把當點樣拖慢咩別讓行點能行嘅
也嘛的都把結果點嘛都把結果我說不寫了哇也寫了哇記得哇
講得啲出股石啲出股石啲
我結果點我說不寫了哇
多股石啲
不寫了哇你能看上去我說差要嘛的是看到了
出股只當寫為那出股那點樣讀寫嘅
但3級了但結果是3級了3級了3級的我說升級是咋了沒有升級了給要嘛了結果的升級了就給要嘛了哇但能看的被長嘛差掉了區域的長嘛差掉了哇我對背上的這個了哇
區域那點南卡嘅後面當叫我沒別讓行
對上都是能看上去能看到背上
出股
的底下要
出股點南卡嘅後面拖沒把當啲叫我沒別讓行啲背啲讓行下那啲叫我咯
就全部的話是3級了哇升級是了要嘛了升級了要嘛了哇能看的話是被長嘛差掉了哇是更加差掉了哇
是咪上了有
全部的3級了哇3級是那個升級上了要嘛了哇
啲現象呢啲嘅背啲下那啲當然有嘛So and then can these be likened to the metaphor of space, where Dhammatatu is like infinite space that contains everything, and the Dhammakaya is like space inherent quality of being unobstructed and unchanging. So then Geshe-la say, so when we say the Tathāgata essence or the Sukhata essence or the reality is likened to space. It is like space because just like space, it doesn't it is not born at the beginning. It doesn't abide in the middle. and it doesn't disintegrate in the end. Similarly, the Tathāgata essence or the Sukata essence in one's continuum is not born in the beginning, is unborn in the beginning. It does not abide in the middle, and it does not disintegrate in the end. So you can say that Dhamma Dhatu is light, is likened to space. Then you can say that. And then in the second part of this understanding, then you say Dhammakaya is like space, inherent quality of being unobstructed and unchanging. Then in Geshe-la, yeah, and sorry, and also Dhamma Dhatu like space, then it is like space because just like space is pervasive, then Dhamma Dhatu is also pervasive as well. So this is for the first part of the understanding. And the second part of the understanding is Dhammakaya is like space, inherent quality of being unobstructed and unchanging. Then we cannot say that Dhammakaya is like space, inherent quality of being unobstructed and unchanging, because Dhammakaya in general is Buddha, and this Dhammakaya does not exist in the ground of does not exist on the grounds of sentient beings. It means that it doesn't exist in sentient beings, this Dhammakaya. So the second part of understanding is Dhammakaya cannot be said as likened to space inherent quality. That's it. So and regarding the fourth questions, and since is there is a quotation from the Dhammakaya Sutra, so I didn't have enough time to translate to Geshe-la. So then I will clarify with Geshe-la later, and then I will get back to you. 장지 주인님보 된 소데 장지당 주인님보 나 된 추구 말와 근데 대한테 이네디 추구를 계시데 추구를 간이스나 데 전단 때문에 네던기 도이나 대한 템바 추구 될라나 이네디 계실라기 양교 다기 개바 요로 대한 추구 ngo네 말레스 데 다바 인삼 마도 이네디 ngo네 말레스 이슈뱅
사실 저쪽에 다다 되게 저는 비슷한 땅이었어. 세고 차로 그래서 제가 주어서 야분으로 와. 주어서 개체모레샤스. 주어서 개체모스나 니 그 비슷한 땅이었어. 그래서 와.
Yeah, so those Jayas, your questions is very good and very important as well, since is a very important points that we need to understand. That therefore Geshe-la is included in our quiz.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Ken.
So, yeah, thank you, Jaya. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so any other question? You can unmute yourself if you have any question.
Geshe-la, I have a question or clarification. The basic element Tathāgata essence exists within sentient being, and sentient being doesn't know it because of the defilement that we have collected since beginner's time. So when we purify it, first we get to know it, and we do all the purification in terms of meditative concentration, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. So eventually, when a sentient being realizes the Tathāgata essence, that is also empty of inherent existence. So
when sentient beings realize, when sentient beings realize,
when sentient being eventually realize the Tathāgata essence, that would be also empty of inherent existence. So which means that to start off with, can we say that Tathāgata essence is empty of inherent existence? And because we need to realize it, we have the teaching, the contemplation, meditation, eventually to realize it. So from an emptiness perspective in the beginning, which we don't realize. And eventually, when we realize it, it's also empty of inherent existence. So you can say that it's just like an onion. You want to look for what is an onion. You keep on peeling the skin, peeling, until the last peeling, there's nothing in the onion. So the onion, you can say that it's just made up of skin. So when you peel off all the onion skin, it's empty, nothing there. So can we say that when we actually when we realize the basic element, Tathāgata essence, will be something like not knowing emptiness, then eventually you come to know emptiness. So it's also actually empty of inherent existence. So basically, I would think that it's the realization of the basic.
Sorry, just now you broke. I think, yeah. Hello.
That's my question.
Yeah, sorry, because
conclusion.
yeah, your conclusion is, sorry, please repeat, because I couldn't hear you. I think because of connection or something.
Can I conclude that without realizing Tathāgata essence in the beginning in us, and eventually realizing it at the end of it is also totally empty of inherent existence. So without knowing it in the beginning, at the end of it, after all, like looking into an onion, trying to find what is the onion, what is inside there. It's just that, but we just start peeling off the skin layer by layer by layer by layer. And at the end of it, there's nothing, it's only an onion. So of course, onion is only mere label. So we know that onion is just composed of all of skin that when you want to actually find the onion, by peeling off layer by layer by layer, there's nothing there. So it's empty of its essence in term of onion itself.
So
that is
can I conclude your question? Yeah, is my understanding correct that you're asking that the realization? Can I say you are comparing the realizations of Tathāgata essence to with the realizations of the emptiness of an onion? Am I correct?
More like
realizations of Tathāgata essence. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all. Yeah, ni kongi. Ya, ini di kong yang osma wo de shi song, ini tiang de shi shi bin ning bo da bo ina, ini ngang zo sen jin gu la yo de, ini ngang zo de yo ba de ha ma ko ma che, kan is na ngang zo gi ji ma gi wang gi, ini tiang de ka za de sen jin gu la de shi bin ning bo yo ba de ha ku gi yo ma ris, ini yang dong ban ka za yang gom gya ya ta, ini yang de something gi to den zo la de ne, ini di ta ma ngang zo de yang de shi bin ning bo de to gi yo ris, ini yang de shi bin ning bo 또 여기 디시시비 님보대 양 랑싱기 마주에스 랑싱이 주에 동바레스 랑싱이 주에 동반이레스 근데 람나 디기요나스 계산이 공기 라야 디 공기 한 배대 지샤바레 배나 차샤나 주 고바요로 고바 고바로 고바 지네 대한 바바 만보요로 어저 대한 디 가단데 치러 바바데 바바 만보요와 제니 어저데 지 디 슈슈슈 데 타마 데 nga so yang de goba de ra yo maris a ning bo tong ya de jezang ni ni tama de kong a ge je ti bai ini ade ka sa tiang go be ding gi dong ban ni do ba de tang de xing xie bin ning bo do ya de zha bo yo ba kong a de ka sa bei de nang xing de tuan de den ya den de ina se de gan de shu ban de de je den de ina se kong gi go de
그때 여러 가지로 그거를 한다들이 그 시지단데 비라 다 디시는 뭐디 여보 하마고 디원도 때가서 배 시제 가시배 앞으로 상지 더봐 상지 더야서 이거면 우선 뜻에 셈바슈 세슈 차들와 세슈 차는 것들이요 다시 가서 뭐저 준 시고요 도시 있는 것이라 준도 내고 준도 내 하고 준도 뭐가 가는 거와 준도 가는 거 this is to achieve that was something to go to你个这是现在多achieve这多achieve这是东西的我心里我要把它过它过的这多achieve这多achieve的这点两类去点公把的这他你这不去不透的这东西去不透的是他点的话你不去不透的是公把你我把这个让你这个多的让他让你生的 대화식이 님보고 뭐라 제발 요 말. 나 뭐에 뭐 집발 하래 다 하래. 법비대도 가서 또 많이 열어와. 법비대도 유튜브 동화대 대다 대화식 생기다 랑 유튜브 동화 되니까 랑 뭐라 요
sim ki tendo rangxing ma zhubi dongba.
동바대 동바대니 뭐라가 제발 요 말. 뭐라 가서 집발하자 가서 생직지 동반이다. 생직지 동반이다. 산직지 랑주비 동안이 뭐라 여바면 뭐 이야면 집어 영어로 뭐라 이야요 말했어. 이야요 말했어. 아주 땡 시들 제발요 와. 되게 동반이 가사 되게 시죠 와. 시들 제발요. 시들 와. 제가 가서 생 시들 돈이 생기게 동반이 가사 되게 시들 가서 세들 와. 고바들 동반이 가사 시들 고바 그런 잡고 와. 뭐 때때는 제발요 말도 근데 되게 때도 동반이니까 뭐에 말했어. 뭐라 제발요 말했어. 뭐니가 가자 덴버트가 동안 집어지장 했어.
가자 임바.
가자 덴버트가 동바. 가자 덴버트가 동바. 동배 뭐 집어했어. 엄마니.
야 가자 근데 가자 가래. 가자.
가자 덴버트 바로 와. 대 동바로 와. 이와.
Yeah, so what you say is correct. So when we say that sentient beings doesn't know doesn't understand or doesn't know the existence of Tathāgata essence in the continua of sentient beings. So because of this, then they feel discouraged because they think that I'm not able to achieve the state of enlightenment. And through understanding that. Through understanding the existence of the Tathāgata essence in the continuum of all sentient beings, so then one generates the enthusiasm, think that I will be able to achieve the state of enlightenment. And through understanding this and generating enthusiasm, then it eliminates such faults. So last class, then we talked about faults, right? So 5 faults. So then these faults is eliminated. Then we engage in practice in relation to Tathāgata essence. Then one will eventually achieve the sorted wisdom wisdom truth body of realization. So then you use the simile or the example of the emptiness on the basis of onion. Then your explanation is when you peel, then you do not see that you do not find the garlic, and then so this. You use this simile, use this analogy of the emptiness on the basis of onion, then to illustrate or to illustrate the emptiness of inherent existence on the basis of mind. So emptiness of inherent existence on the basis of onion, and also the emptiness of inherent existence on the basis of mind. So these two, the emptiness itself, its nature is indivisible. Its nature is indivisible. So you can also give another example, something like, you can also give another example, thank you, Shala said. So emptiness of inherent existence in the continuum of sentient beings, and the emptiness of inherent existence in the continuum of Buddhas. That emptiness of inherent existence, emptiness of inherent existence is exactly the same. What is different here is the support. In other words, is the basis. So the basis is different. So similar for your example. So the emptiness of inherent existence on the basis of onion, and emptiness of emptiness of inherent existence on the basis of mind. So emptiness itself is exactly the same, but the basis is different. One is onion, another one is mind. So similarly, in the second example that Geshe-la gave, in the continuum of sentient beings and in the continuum of Buddhas, so the basis is different, but the emptiness of inherent existence itself is indivisible. your question is very good, and it's also very important to understand because it relates to the purpose of understanding the existence of Tathāgata essence in the continuum of sentient beings. So it's a very important question. So I also included it in the quiz. Sorry, excuse me. Question.
Hi, Geshe-la. Can I ask a question?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, in the Tathāgata essence, the focus is mainly on the impure and pure grounds. Why are the individual grounds from ground 1 to 10 not explained in details?
First ground to ground 10.
Yes, not explained in detail.
Anh nói số thì chỉ biết những mối nào cho anh tìm mà thà sa tuyến cái gì tiếng à bà thằng mà thà sa thì xếp vào đó à số thì à bé tuyến thì ở đi ya mà cái gì thì mà thà sa tuyến bị chỉ mà thằng thà sa tuyến bị chỉ mà đó cái gì ni cái gì sa thằng bộ nè sa chú bà phá tu yang cái gì thì yang cái gì 뭐가 gitu 가자한테 가르치네 양티 가서 십 가자한테 10차 두엔디 시오 말이스.
네. 다른 것도 배 시타체브나 뜻사 당분에 림바 아지도 뭔가 뒤집어 좀 해서 뭐가 뒤집어를 이런 거사 당분이 집어봐. 제가 가서 림바 아지도 배사 당분 뭐가 뒤집어. 아니 하나 제가 다 대신이 뭐 시고 제가 대신이 뭐 대사 당분 내가 아니라 대신이 뭐 대본에 라지 대신이 뭐 대상을 빠네 뭐가 뒤집어 들고 뭐가 뒤집어 들어와라 사 당분 그러지 뭐가 뒤집어 들어와라 대신이 뭐 뭐구나 더 두려 아 대신이 뭐 뭐야 돼 사 당분 이미가 선발은 이 수수수 하나 뭐가 뒤집어 돼 왜야 그 보고 당어서 베스트들 서부시에 뭐 마시 제가스나 맞어 사 당분 참아를 배 뭐가 뒤집어래 방에 속으나 당어서 시리들아 진리 총수 시리들아 진리 총수야 참아 봐 예고 뉴디들아야 진리 총수 다들아야 양잡아 뭐 예고 다도 서버 베스를 있어 보는 시도요 말와 이 시도요 단다들 다가다 사 dimba 니야 사 당분이 주바 봐 시여와 근데 지난 가서 지시라고 제야래 와 소소랑아라 뭐가 뒤집어 방에 시야래면 다레레레는 봐 세부시에만 다레레는 시그나 가서 진짜 그 베스 마치나 이제 kalẹ̀ khabar dise shugor wa dise shugor wa dise na rere ta nyomu de la pe ko shen ko re shedi de la ko rimba sono ya rimba social wa shedi de la ngaso sa jeba ko ba sono ya a jale shegore ta nyedi de sa tambo ne mi sa de ba ba ya ma rimba shedi shegore chendi chosu ya ya chimbo da rimba ji chumo de shen ya.
Yeah, so it's not explained in detail because if we were to explain in detail, first we need to identify each respective obstructions of the first ground from the first ground up to the 10th ground. So first we need to, if we were to explain in detail, then we need to identify each and respective obstructions from the first ground up to the 10th ground. And in order to identify respective obscurations from the first ground to the 10th ground, then for example, from the first ground up to the 7th ground, then it talks about afflictive obscurations. The afflictive obscuration is to be eliminated, and afflictive obscurations can be divided into great, intermediate, and small. And then great itself can further divide it into great, intermediate, and small. And similarly, the knowledge obscurations can be divided into great, middling, intermediate, and small. And then the great one can also further divide it. So if we were to identify each respective obscurations from the first ground up to the 10th ground, then it will the explanation itself will take a long time, and we will not be able to finish within the timeline. And knowledge obscurations is to be eliminated from the 7th ground up to the 10th ground. And yeah, so it will take a long time to explain it. And having so in order to be free from these obscurations, and then one needs to meditate on the Tathāgata essence or the Sugata essence. So without meditating on the Tathāgata essence, one will not be able to free from the obscurations. So therefore, we must meditate on the Tathāgata essence in order to be free from respective obscurations. And however, even though we do not explain it in detail, however, we do cover it in a general context. So we do have general explanations for these pure grounds and impure grounds, because when we talk about the defilements based on the pure grounds and defilement based on the impure grounds, so it is a general explanations for these obscurations, respective obscurations from the 1st ground to the 10th ground.
Yeah, very good question.
Yeah, very good question, Vishalasana.
Any question?
Okay, Sheila, that's delay. So I want to ask you this question. I have been told to concentrate on dependent arising, Lama Tsongkhapa's dependent arising, because everything is contained.
Sorry,
there.
Mr. Kwai, to focus on what? Sorry.
Lama Tsongkhapa's dependent arising.
Okay.
So that sort of leads you to the understanding of emptiness. Because if things are dependent arising, therefore nothing can exist in heavenly. So it's quite straightforward and simple. I know the study is very extensive and very useful, but sooner or later, you have to focus on one item. So my advice was, not my own advice, I've been advised by my guru to just focus on that and let go of all the others. And that should lead you where you want to go. And just that's the question. You got my point? That will lead you to where you want to go. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kung diang kazang kunggi lama la diang kunggi song bari ini di lama tongkaba gi zombe tendi doba ingiri diang kaza yana diang lama tongkaba zombe kaza tendi gi temba gi kola di sem tendu sem tena ini di sem zeji du de jangna kaisna 동만이 가장 가이스나 덴데기 다래 덴데기 다기 균에 애니한 추탐지에 장신기 주베 동바디양디 하데 도토기어라데 직 가서 대직 탑시라고 직 탑제에 대한 완전히 대균에 동만이 도토기레스 가이스나 완전 단어讲야 된조 그냥 대신 시비닝보 된조 그냥 천이 된조 이네 당 개발 대한 시기요레스 이네한테 비주 첨부 요레스 이네한테 강치마도 강조양 디 공개보로 공개와이나 이네한테 셈량디 가서 유직라 다원에 대한 세지도의 샤워로와 공거로와 제상의 공개 라마라 공개 라마기 공라데 송바레 이네한테 강치마도 강의 셈량 유직라야 셈 템보 셈 세지도의 샤워레스 제상한테 대 제베 양 강조기 가서 안디 강 토바 대양디 토기레스 제상 덴디 이나스 공비 보아데
Yes, telling the Taris. They were to pay nobody do have Lucy, actually tended them, tended to settle us on money, put Tombani Koya when it are this. The thing was that sense the Tombani, another quality, that the sense is the name of the Toya, that I told this.
심지어 제가 먼저 되는데 하고 나서
센시지도 여바이나 센시지와 개체모 잡고 나서 센시지보다 맨 나이가 더 나이도 수가도 너무 무슨 막아나 내가 생각 못 하도 말아 어디 대화했어 very good question.
Yeah. Yeah, so Kishla said, that is correct. So dependent arising is the means of realizing emptiness. And if we understand the meaning of emptiness, then we can single-pointedly focus our mind on we can single-pointedly focus our mind or set our mind on that understanding of emptiness, and through these, distraction can be eliminated. If we do not single-pointedly focus our mind on the emptiness that we understand, then we will not be able to enter meditative equipoise. So therefore, whatever you say is correct. Dependent arising is the means of realizing emptiness. And then when you understand the meaning of emptiness, then you single-pointedly focus your mind on it, and then you will reach the destination or accomplish what you desire.
Question. Come catch it in the come catch it in the
That's right. So we don't have much time left. So maybe one or two questions, if there is any.
간다 전화 들어와. 때 시대가 참아기 유람하고 때 참아기 동합전에 미세로 시부지 나와서 근데 때 시대가는 개청 보내시 유람만 다 제능이 간다 쿠시스를 마땅히 나도 가서 지나 참아기 리뷰 클래스 데 셀리 인양도 참아기 멘티네 참아기 좋아 워트를 하고 나머지도 때 배도 정보를 해서 배도 정보를 해서 때 빼면서 참아기
So this Sublime Continuum is a very important text to study. I'm preparing a quiz, and then soon I will send this quiz out. And also I would like to encourage all of you to try your best to participate or to attend a review class conducted by Sally, and then in which you are going to have discussions, and you ask questions, and also discuss with your friends. And this is a very beneficial things to do. So please continue a great effort.
맞아 유라몽고마 그치 땅산 해서 땅 산제도 저도 제 등이 제일 땅을 무슨 상관이 그다 이제 소소히 내가나 보다 컨트리뷰션과 개청모는 무슨 마땅 보래 땅 예를 들어서 상관 문제는 아니라 디스 모델과 이 창사 대고로 창사 너무 많으나 그치 뭐이나 그들은 컨트리뷰션 맞지 때려 와 컨트리뷰션 야고 때려 그래서 어디서 개청모니스
Yeah, so I've sent out first quiz. So it covers the first part of the Sublime Continuum or the Tathāgata Essence. So later I will send out the second quiz that covers the rest of the Tathāgata Essence. So in these quizzes, then I include those important points or those vital points in these quizzes. So I try my best to include these important informations in quizzes. So if you're unable to read the whole text, then try your best to study quizzes.
맞아. 진주 퀴즈 저도 타마네. 진주도 개체 뭐시나 shawo当我这被进入的那节目是大的学了这时候当我就进入퀴즈 저도我们今天当场就是我们今天也不那个学了70万样的进入或者대창작로 도嘛창작로嘛그냥 퀴즈也不落学是学听我们
And also Bodhisattva and Rinchen, so those are very important texts as well. So in relation to these texts, so quizzes have been sent out. So they are very important as well, and it's very difficult for us to read again the whole text. So, however, I try our best to reveal those quizzes that you have received. So, for auspiciousness, and Geshe-la will read a bit from the beginning of this text. Yeah. So after this Tathāgata Essence class, so we are going to teach Bodhicharyavatara on Tuesday. So I will try my best to cover Bodhicharyavatara, complete Bodhicharyavatara. So study well, and I'm very pleased with all of your great effort. We conclude with dedication. We dedicate these roots of virtue to the flourishing of Buddha Dharma and to the excellent happiness of all sentient beings. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to all upholders of Buddha Dharma, illustrated by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to live eons long, to have excellent health, and may all their enlightened activities and holy wishes be accomplished instantaneously and spread in all directions. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to our beloved teacher, Gyaltsab Lama Zopa Rinpoche. May we meet the unmistaken reincarnations of Rinpoche as quickly as soon as possible, and may Rinpoche's holy wishes be accomplished instantaneously. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to world peace. May excellent happiness prevail throughout the world. May wars, conflicts, disaster, natural disaster, pandemic, diseases be pacified immediately. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to those who pass away, especially those who pass away because of these conditions. May their negativities accumulated since beginningless time be pacified immediately and quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. Ye tabe ge wa de te ro wa kun la kan be la che ba ji zi lo sang da ma yi ten be ning bo rin bo se je shuo jiang chu sen jiu rin bo jie ma ge fa na ge gu ji yang ba me fa yang gong le gong du pe wa shuo jia be ba wei ji da jian ba dan gun du sang bo de an de shi de la kun ge jie su da lu ji ge wa de da tang jie ra tong o fi ni da wa rin bo jie ma ge fa na ge gu ji jie ba yang ba me fa yang gong le gong du pe wa shuo rin mi da wa rin bo jie ma ge fa na ge gu ji jie ba yang ba me fa yang gong du pe wa shuo dong yi ni jie sun du jue be lang ji zi si si gang jie dian jue gen chen na bei mo di jing ga so la so wa de so xian de lu duo shuo ji de kan de pen de ma lu ba因为上辈行动各地所谓的这个做了所谓的所读写人就说大美的把给生也让罗上 Jawa Yase Kubaje Raja Shiki Kanyo Mandu Bete Member to Begele Zoyo so Zobe to Terifoche Rubes in Bewala Nayam Missus Bekujaje to Meche Lama Suwa de Pede Malu Joe Kuchibu Kayete Dama Jujoa Interachi to Sepatse Mulo Shiva Shite Ireba Jesus Yasuji Ladam Jesse Noche to Gela Monje Lume de Beam to Safe Zum Gesa to Jepe to New Shears. Yahweh Coalition on the Penal de Malu Jopin, Generous Award and Zingas of Asia City for two things you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Gisela. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Ken.
So,
And
yes,
thank you, everyone.
Sorry, I forgot to. So sorry. Yeah, so we're going to recite Thanksgiving Mandala, right, Gisela? Because I did. Sorry, Yo, no, we did. Guru Rana Meno Yada